a nice current running along the edge of the ridge, which is just brilliant for a whole variety of different life forms. There's a few superstars to look out for, and that is one of them. Giant trevally. A nice big green turtle. Always nice to see.
Sea turtles are what's known as a flagship species, a kind of symbol of their habitat. If they're healthy, there's a good chance other marine life around them is also flourishing.
Oh my goodness me, that's a huge giant clam. The actual shell is covered with the mantle, which is soft skin all around it. And that soft skin, if you look very closely, has got lots of little holes, little mirrors in it. And a green tinge. Now that green tinge is millions of algae that are living inside the tissues of its mantle.
These giant clams live 100 years or more and are one of the most misunderstood sea creatures. People once believed they were man-eaters and would grab you as you swam by. Rubbish. Total myth.
Not just because it looks so fancy and flamboyant with all those flaps and flanges on its fins, but actually because of the way it's hunting. And this guy's hunting right now. It's using those beautifully elaborate pectoral fins that make it look a little like a Chinese dragon.
Fantastic visibility, just beautiful to see the landscape underwater. Hardened divers tend to get a little bit, I've seen that, they start creating lists. But for me, the beauty is to actually watch an individual fish. Why is it on the reef? What's it doing? How's it interacting with other creatures on the reef? And that for me is the magic of diving. And if you can learn to do that, it creates a whole new dimension to the experience of us being underwater with the fish.
Hard to believe, maybe, but that wonderful underwater landscape is directly connected to a place chattering with the operatic cacophony of 8 breeding bird species, appropriately named.
Just the spectacle, all those fish colours, and it's very difficult to tune in on the individual species and the little behaviour. And I guess it's similar when you land on an island. Spectacle is just so spectacular, but once you've started focusing in on individual birds, you see all sorts of things happening. Watching the adult birds, you see a bird fly in, you see it meet its mate, you see what you do, a bit of pair bonding, then you see a lot of arguments with the neighbours, a lot of shouting over the fence, and then of course the important bit, which are the chicks here. They're all sitting around waiting for mum or dad to come in with a crock full of fish. And that's it. This might seem totally in contrast to the peace and the non-smelly environment of the ocean. This is entirely dependent on the world we are diving with. And every now and then when you see that fish slither down the beak of the adult bird into the gullet of the chick, right there is that direct connection. It's all about the fish.
Next stop for me, Langkawi. There's a remarkable transformation going on here. Malaysian scientists are resurrecting once dying coral reefs. Langkawi is part of a marine conservation area that covers the space of 7 Manhattans combined. Fishing has been banned here for 11 years, and I'm here to meet Archie, who does some high-tech monitoring to ensure it stays that way.
This is a radar tracking system that we use to monitor fishing boats that come into conservation area.
So it's this that effectively keeps this paradise?
Yes.
Is this us here?
Yes, this is Langkawi, and within this area is the conservation area. In the past, we have fishing trawlers that trawling in between this area. And after enforcement work have been carried out, so right now the fishing activities is basically outside of
So
conservation area.
Your action here is deterring fishing.
Yes.
But is that reflected in what you're seeing underwater as far as the diversity and the numbers?
Definitely, yes, definitely. Corals are good, fish population are good, diversity are more.
Wow.
Yes.
Once overfished, the area around Langkayan is now brimming with life. That's due, in part, to a few shipwrecks.
But they're called the Langkayan here. Now, whether or not you're of the school of thought that wrecks sank specifically to attract wildlife and just jump on the ocean, or whether they do form an artificial reef, it doesn't matter. I guess the story is kind of evident. This was an illegal fishing ship that was found in Malaysian waters, and it was confiscated by the Fisheries Department. And what was taking fish from this place is now, in its own way, giving it back. It's kind of poetic.
We're also out here for a bit of Archie's research, to find a measure of fish found nowhere else.
Oh, I see. There he is. Jawfish. But not any old jawfish. This is a giant jawfish. Archie wants to see if he can actually measure this, guys. We're going to see if we can lure it out of his burrow while Archie takes a picture. Come on. Come on, boy. Come and get it. Come on. Can't believe I'm talking to a fish. Fantastic fish. Absolutely wonderful.
Langkayan is a wonderful example of reef restoration, of conservation revitalising a site for marine life and for diving. I've hit 3 of Malaysia's top dive sites on my quest, but I'm not done yet. My final destination has it all. Shallow dives, deep dives, and marine life like you've never seen.
Now, the next stage in my adventure is to rendezvous with Alexandra Cousteau, and together we're then heading on to Sipadang, which is probably Malaysia's top dive site. And what makes this part of the journey just a little bit more poignant is that Jacques Cousteau, Alexandra's grandfather, was the man who made the rest of the world very much aware of this place, and of course put it